Hello everyone, and welcome to today's Leagues 4 video. If you've played any leagues so far, you've probably realized at some point that minigames are quite powerful this year in this season of leagues. And that's really because of the boosted minigame points that have really kind of changed, I guess, the desirability to actually go ahead and do minigames compared to some of the previous years where they were quite miserable. So if you didn't already know, basically, you start off at just your regular minigames, but just at tier 2, you're going to have 3 times minigame points. Once you get up to tier 5, you're also going to be getting 5 times minigame boosts. And at tier 7, you'll be getting as much as 8 times minigame points. And tier 7 it's only 15,000 points. It's a bit of a grind, but it's nothing crazy. And at this point in the game, you're receiving 16 times the experience, 8 times the minigame points, and you can really do a lot of kind of crazy stuff with that. A lot of the minigames that have previously been quite miserable to do are a lot better and definitely a lot more doable. And as always, there's always a lot of tasks associated with those minigames. So it's definitely a good time to go ahead and get your kind of start getting those tasks done once you get to those higher minigame boosts. In addition, based on your regions, these can often be some of the better training methods for your skills anyways. So, doing them there along with all the minigame boosts to get any kind of rewards and stuff like that, it just goes along very nicely hand in hand. So today we're just going to be going over just a bunch of the minigames that I know personally with my regions. Kandarin, Desert, and Ascarnia, I have access to like a vast majority of the minigames, almost all of them actually, when I actually started writing them all down. I do have access to a lot of them, but I'll also talk about a couple of the others that I've been able to do on my alt character and just a little bit of the small tips and tricks that I found by playing it over there as well. Okay, so let's start off with Soul Wars. This is kind of a big one that's been pretty popular. So you can definitely find games on 472. This is like the official world, but also you can go to 592 as well. That's what I'm going to be showcasing. And that's like the boss rush world where you're not really encouraged to do any PvP. You're basically just rushing to the boss and trying to kill the bosses as fast as possible. And only a couple people will be in the middle, basically, just taking care of, capturing the middle. So that one team, and you're basically just rolling 50-50 on if you're on the winning team or the losing team. And it basically just ensures really, really fast games. So you don't have to like spend a lot of time fighting or doing any PvP. It's just quick games, quick points, super easy, and that's what I'm going to be showcasing today. Now, Soul Wars is really broken because not only are you going to be receiving the extra minigame points, but you can also redeem those points for experience. So let's say you're at 8 times the minigame points and 16 times the experience. That means not only are you going to be getting the points faster, but when you actually redeem it, you're getting way, way, way more experience. 8 times 16 comes out to about 128 times the multiplier compared to the regular game. This makes Soul Wars very good, and everybody has access to it. It only requires Misthalin, so regardless of what regions you pick, you will have access to Soul Wars. You can train all of your combat styles as well as prayer here. So, this kind of became a very efficient way of training whatever combat style you're not specializing in with your combat relic, because obviously it's going to be a lot faster to just do it here and just dump points in as opposed to like killing fossil or killing like sand crabs or whatever. Now, in addition, there used to be a cap on how much you could actually turn in per day. That has been removed since making this video. So as of now, you can basically do Soul Wars as much as you want. You can get 99 in all your combat styles. Hell, you could even go get 50 mil. It honestly will not take you very long. You're going to be getting a lot of experience. Typically, these games do start a little bit faster. I'm just making this video at like 4 a.m., so it's taking a little bit of time to get going. But yeah, typically it's, if you're in the middle of the day at a little bit more active time, it does tend to run a little bit faster. And you can see the wave just finished from the last one, so they're all going to come in basically just because I missed the wave on the previous one. So we're kind of waiting for, one game at a time right now. And now, I did say that this is like the no PvP world. There will be some PvP activity. It just always happens. There are some people who want to go and do it. So you just have to accept that that's the world you live in, that there's going to be people who come in here just to do PvP anyways. And it is a PvP minigame, so don't be too upset. It's not like you can't really like report somebody for doing PvP in a PvP minigame. It's just kind of a community-led like thing right now where this world is supposed to be not designed for PvP. And again, that's 472 for the main one, 592 for the boss rush no PvP world. And if you've never played Soul Wars before, it's honestly really simple with this method. You're basically just going to be starting at your side. You can grab a potion if you like, it just buffs your stats up a little bit. And you basically are just booking it over to the other side. We're avoiding the middle because that's where people go to do PvP. Instead, we're just going to run all the way over to the other side avatar. Typically, capturing the middle is how you actually do damage to the bosses. But with like huge masses like this, I've honestly just never even bothered with it. I let other people take care of that. I just go straight to the enemy base, turn on protection from melee. Maybe we'll turn on Mystic Might as well, because this guy does do melee damage. Usually go find myself a little corner, and that's it. I start doing damage, and you can see that right now I'm hitting zeros. If we had like control of the middle, we would actually start doing damage to him. So now we're starting to do damage to him. And basically we're just doing this. First team to get 5 kills wins. And whoever controls the middle does a little bit more damage. So it basically comes down to whichever side had a little bit more PKers run to the middle and capture it. The idea with this world, though, is you're basically just handshaking which team wins instead of constantly fighting for middle control. One team's just going to get like 5 kills pretty fast, or maybe you'll get like 2 kills on one side, 5 kills on the other side. But instead of spending a lot of time focusing on actually competing for PvP, you're just all killing the bosses. And this kind of makes it like a much more, in my opinion, a much more chill experience when you don't have to actually engage in the PvP aspect of the game. And you can just do this instead and, you know, basically collect your zeal at the end to turn in. If you do come here and you find yourself losing like 1 or 2 games, don't worry, you're not doing anything wrong. It really is just kind of like a coin flip, whether you're on the winning team or the losing team. So if you're okay with that and that's something you like to do, yeah, Soul Wars it's great. If you do want to go do the PvP though, again, 472, just fine. You can go over there, fight people in mid. Games take a little bit longer, but you know, there's a little bit more, I guess, like activity going on there from what I understand. All right, and with that, we've killed the boss 5 times, basically. Game's over, and you can see I got about 200 Zeal tokens. Not that bad. Or I got 208 from this game, so basically just do some damage, and you're getting tokens. Now, why do we actually want tokens? Well, we can go trade Nomad, and he gives us experience per tokens. You can see that you get about half experience for your prayer, but you do get full experience for all your other stuff. So let's say, for example, you know, I'm already maxed, but let's say I want to get like 25 mil in something. Maybe we want to get 25 mil in range, for example. Or actually, let's just do 100 in prayer, for example, right? We got 200, so let's just do 100 in prayer here. And you can also do X tokens. You could do any amount you want. But let's say we just throw 100 in prayer. We got 200 that game. Boom. 358,000 experience in prayer. So we got about, if we did both of those, we would get about 700,000 prayer experience just from that one game, which took like maybe 5 minutes. You know, it's pretty insane. Now, there are a couple other things. You can also buy imbues here. So if you had any kind of black mask, a Slayer helm, salve amulet, your Dagonath King rings, all that stuff can be imbued here as well using points. Otherwise, buying an ectoplasmator is a task, so you might want to just buy this. But you can also get quite a bit from your Soul Wars. I'll see if I'll go ahead and just buy like 3 of these here just to showcase it. In particular, this is where I get all of my essence for rune crafting. I'll see if we get lucky here, but you can also get like diamonds and stuff like that. Yeah, I got 24 diamonds that time. This is actually a very nice way of getting your diamonds if you're trying to get into Zenaris to get like a dragon longsword on a melee build. Here's a couple of runes, and this time we got like sharks. But you can get like anywhere from 5,000 to like 15,000 essence from opening these. I was able to, I think I did this for like maybe 45 minutes and I got like 30,000 essence. That took me all the way to 99 rune crafting. So if you're looking for essence, Soul Wars is kind of your solution as well. All right, next up we got Soul Wars' big brother, and that's Pest Control. Now, this will require Asgarnia to have access to because that's how you get to Port Sarim. But yeah, Pest Control is it's like a very superior version of Soul Wars that gives you even more experience. Again, it's the same idea here where you're going to be getting the minigame boost on top of the experience boost, and you can redeem that you can redeem the points for experience. So you're basically double dipping, and you're getting an insane amount of experience. In addition, when you do 10 at a time, you're going to be getting like a 1% bonus. When you do 100, you get like a 10% bonus. So depositing 100 at a time just really gives you an insane amount of experience here. You can also get herb packs, seed packs, and mineral packs. But the herb packs and the seed packs can come in handy if you're trying to like train your herb lore, maybe get some farming levels up. And the Void Knight set is actually surprisingly good. This is what I used when I started getting into raids and stuff like that, because it just made swaps a lot easier when you had like your Void Range helmet, your Void Mage, and your Void Melee helmet. You just have to swap like just your helmet and your weapon basically. And you're getting like a nice armor set for your off-style combats. But really, again, here, this is how I train my prayer and all of my off-styles. For Pest Control, I did this all on 472 mainly. I just found that this is the most common one. Again, this is kind of the middle of the night, so it's not super active, but during the day these boats are pretty frequent. Over here, there are 3 boats. There's the easy one that's level 40, medium is level 70, and then this veteran boat is level 100. So if you do get combat level 100, that's probably where you're gonna want to be if you want to, really get the most amount of points. I think you get like 3, 4, and 5 points per victory, and you basically win every time. Unlike Soul Wars, you're basically guaranteed to win. It's very hard to lose a pest control game. And again, those points are multiplied by the minigame. So even though I said I get 5 times, I'm actually going to be getting 8 times that. So I'm actually going to be getting 40 default when I finish a pest control game, which is kind of insane. And if you've never played pest control, it's very simple. There's 4 portals on like around the edges, and you just attack some mobs. There's no PvP or anything here. You're just going to be attacking mobs. It's very simple. You do have like a little, I guess, like an activity bar here that just makes it easy to know, I guess, how much you've actually contributed. And when the portals open up, you can kind of see there's usually an interface that tells you what's coming up next. Just kill the portals. Very simple. Pest control is also really broken because as long as you can maintain your activity, you can actually use Banker's Note to bring in stuff that you normally wouldn't be able to bring in. For example, I can go ahead and bring all of these uncut diamonds, and I can actually get my crafting experience while I'm in pest control. This is how I did a lot of my herblore. I did a lot of my crafting. So I did a good amount of my fletching in here as well. And all you need to do is, every now and then, maybe when the portals open up, just go ahead and contribute a little bit so that you never get below. I usually try to maintain like above 30% basically. But otherwise, if things are good, people don't really need my help. I get a lot of my bank standing done here as well, on top of getting all that combat experience. So yeah, it's a very broken method if you do have Banker's Note as well. It really makes pest control one of the most efficient ways to do basically all of your bank standing. The purple one opened up, so I'm going to go to this last blue one over here, continue doing some crafting, and then we'll just wrap it up and kill this blue portal. If I ever go low, I can just attack like whatever mob's coming up. They die kind of fast, so just be careful that you're keeping your bar healthy. I'll grab a new inventory of diamonds, go ahead and kill this last portal, and I'm basically good to go. Now you can see here that when I won, I actually got 64 Void Knight points, and you might be wondering, how is he getting 64? I thought you said 40. Well, there's actually one more trick, and that's that combat achievements, like the combat diaries or whatever, they actually increase the amount of points you get, and that actually ends up getting multiplied as well. So when I said 40, that's like the default. If you've done the easy combat diaries, you're actually going to get 48. You're getting one more. It's multiplied by 8. If you've done the medium, you're going to get 56. And if you've done the hard diaries like I have, you're going to get 64 Void Knight points per game. It's pretty ridiculous at 64. And you just saw that game was pretty fast and only took 2 or 3 minutes. So yeah, very very good. You do get a little bit of coins. I think I got like 1,000 here, but we're not really here for the coins. And again, I got 64 that game, but let's just see what 100 points of prayer gives us. We'll just go ahead and do 100, and we got 500k. 500k from just that. I mean, it's quite fast considering that these games take 2 or 3 minutes. You can do bank standing in there. Yeah, this is a very nice, efficient way of getting prayer up, ranged, magic, attack, defense, whatever you need, basically. I probably wouldn't train your main combat style here because you're probably better off just doing like Slayer or whatever. But yeah, all of your off styles, Pest Control is just broken. All right, moving on, let's talk about Kourend Favour. This actually is boosted by the minigame like multiplier. Typically you would have to get 100% to like unlock all the different activities. Things like the farming guild, the woodcutting guild, those all require different amounts of favor to unlock. However, this becomes a lot faster with the minigame boost. Now, you probably aren't going to want to wait till like the 8 times minigame if you've unlocked Zaya early to actually go ahead and do your favor, just because it does unlock so much free content. But even at the 5 times minigame bonus, this was very fast for me to do on my melee account, which does run Zaya. In particular, one thing to note is that every single region in Zaya has a quest associated with it. So this would be like the Ascent of Arceus, the Depths of Despair, the Forsaken Tower, Queen of Thieves, and the Tales of the Righteous. I think those are the 5 quests. Those also give you favor, and that is also boosted as well. It gives you like a 10% certificate that can be boosted. Let's say you're at 5 times, it would give you 50%. Let's say you're at 8 times, it would give you 80%, right? For that specific house. Now, all the quests require 20% to actually go ahead and start, which means that what I would typically do is I would get to about 20% favor, do the quest, turn it in for about 50%. So now I'm at 70%. And then usually by 70%, you either have whatever you need or you already have a couple of the faster methods to acquire favor. And so you can do that really quick. I'm not going to go into a full guide on favor, but that's just something to keep in mind if you've been holding it back. Just make sure you're doing those quests as well. They can very easily give you, 50% favor if you're already at tier 5. You're getting that 5 times minigame boost. All right, next up, let's talk about Fossil Island. If you've spent any amount of time here, you have probably started getting an obscene amount of fossils because these are also boosted by the minigame multiplier, so you'll be getting quite a lot of these. In particular, doing Soliceps, cutting Soliceps over in like the swamp area. This is the fastest way of acquiring them, but I did most of my fossils just by doing Herbivore because it's quite good hunter experience anyways. You're going to get herbs for training your Herblore, and honestly, I just found that Herbivore is quite cool. It's quite nice and relaxing, so I like Herbivore. I got a lot of fossils doing this. Now, you will notice that your inventory gets quite clogged with them. Instead of having to teleport back out, you can actually always go to this fossil storage and just deposit them. You can see I have some of my cleaned ones over here, but the unidentified fossils is what you'll be getting. You can just deposit them and then save them for later for when you actually want to go ahead and clean them. Cleaning fossils is all done at the Fossil Island base camp. There's like a little fossil cleaning bench that you have to build. It only takes like maybe 2 oak planks, a couple nails, or something like that. But you'll be able to get your fossils from the fossil storage. By the way, the fossil storage is shared, so if you put them in the mushroom area, you can get them here as well. You can see it's the exact same fossil storage. And there's also one in the Varrock Museum, which is where you'll actually be turning them in for experience. You can also turn this in for prayer experience, but personally, what I would do is just use them for kudos, because that seems to be the issue that most people are having, is they're not actually getting enough museum kudos to like do the Varrock Diary, get Volcanic Mine, all that stuff. And I'll show you how we can actually do that. At the very bottom floor, if we continue to go down, you'll actually get to like the fossil exhibit, and you can see I've done quite a bit of fossils over here. I still have a couple left to do, but essentially, let's say I have a full combination: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I need one of each like column to go ahead and make a full set, and then I can go ahead and start making these. Every time I complete a set, I'll also get a lamp as well as like 2 kudos. So that's how I have up to 184 kudos. Just because I've done quite a bit of these fossils while doing my Herbivore anyways. So yeah, you can see I'm still missing like a couple mediums, but I do have almost the entire museum done here, and I would be able to make it. I just need like I just need basically like mediums and plants, which I don't have, but you get the idea. Basically, come over here, spend your fossils to actually get lamps. You can put this into basically any experience that is hard for you to get. I put it all into agility because I'm not a trickster, unfortunately. And yeah, I was able to get almost all of my agility lamped through this, through achievement diaries, all that good stuff. All right, so something that I haven't seen very many people talk about is the minerals inside of the mining guild. I believe these are boosted. So what you can go ahead and do is just be mining basically anything in here, but I prefer to mine iron rocks. It's very fast with the infernal tool that basically, and with endless harvest as well, it just will auto mine them. And wait one sec. Okay, just make sure you're toggling your thing on so that it actually does turn them into steel bars. But basically with this thing in my, basically with this thing equipped, it automatically turns them into steel bars. I'm getting a ton of mining, getting a ton of smithing, and also the Varrock armor does work here. So you're getting like a 10% chance of getting like a double hit. And you'll see sometimes that instead of getting like 1,000, I'm getting basically twice that for even more experience. Very convenient. However, the real perk here, and why I'm talking about this from a minigame perspective, is if you do have the infernal tools or endless harvest, or maybe you just want to train your mining here by doing, 3 iron rocks. There's nothing wrong with doing this too. You could do this and just go bank it at the bank chest or use banker's note, anything like that. You don't need endless harvest and infernal tools for this, but the minerals in here actually have a bonus chance as well. And I'll show you guys what the minerals do in just a second here. All right, so I got like 40 minerals, and what we can do is we can actually go ahead and trade them. Again, you just get a boosted drop chance of these. Now, these mining gloves are pretty nice. What they do is they give you a chance of saving an ore. So it goes up to like 12% chance of saving a runite rock when you combine them. But you'll get way more than that. So I just bought these really for the collection log. However, these bag full of gems only cost 20 minerals, and you can get that pretty fast. So let's just buy 2 of these, and you can see when I open up just 2 of them, I'm already getting quite a bit of sapphires, quite a bit of emeralds, and some rubies. You can also get diamonds and dragon stones as well. And I can actually show you guys my gem log that I have. Almost all of this was gained from just mining and smithing, or sorry, just from basically training mining in the mining guild. I have way more cut gems that I've sold over the time, but you can see I have well over 1,500 sapphires. I've probably easily had thousands of emeralds and rubies that I just haven't gone around to cutting yet. Tons of dragons. Some of these I got through Tombs of Amasket, but got quite a bit of dragon stones here. You get quite a bit of gems here by just doing this. So if you need to train your mining, I would definitely do it in the mining guild. These rocks are also respawn faster than most other iron rocks, which makes them just kind of the best. If you can just sit here and mine them, gives you a ton of crafting. You're not even gonna have to go buy them through like Tsar City or through the gem trade or anything like that. And yeah, it just gives you a ton of crafting supplies. This is basically how I trained my mining, trained my smithing, and I also trained a lot of my crafting by just having tons of this, or just tons of gems that I could craft at basically whenever I wanted. I didn't even have to go to the gem trade or anything like that. Okay, so another great minigame. Well, I say great, but really this is probably one of the worst minigames you've played, but actually comes back to be quite useful, and that's the Tai Bwo Wannai Favor minigame. First off, you will need to get a Gout Tuber, not only to complete the medium Kourend diary, but also to actually, there's a task for it, right? So if you're trying to get your Gout Tuber, use the worst machete you can get. I got a machete from the like the jungle shop. It's like the general shop just north of Tai Bwo Wannai, this one right here. You don't want to be using a good one because essentially you want to be failing as much as you can. So this is why we're using the worst machete and we're hacking dense jungle. This is going to increase the chance of us failing, and a failed action is actually what can spawn a Gout Tuber. So that's basically how to improve our chances of actually getting one. In addition, the actual favor you get from this is significantly boosted. So getting 100% takes like 5 minutes. It's very, very, very fast. You don't even really need to repair the sticks or anything, although you will need to repair the fence at least one time so you can actually start claiming sticks from the rest of it. You can see this time I got a gem rock, but this could have been a Gout Tuber. There's also stuff for like the Broodoo guys. But just by talking to these guys as well, you know, I got 82 trading sticks that time. For some reason, it seems like the first time you talk to them, they don't really give you that much. But then when you talk to them the second time, you're getting like way, way, way more. So this is going to be a nice way of actually going and getting your trading sticks. Now, there is like a cooldown when you actually claim it from them. So when you go to like a specific person, you're going to have to wait a little bit of time. So that way it might be a little bit difficult to actually get everything that you need. However, we can actually get trading sticks through another way, and that's by talking to Gabooti over here. Not only like first off, he does give you some in general, but you can actually trade this co-op over here, and you can see he sells a red topaz machete, which is a task. He also sells some of this like villager attire, which is also a task as well. I think you need like a full set villager hat, villager robe, tribal top, and I'm actually missing that. I don't have enough trading sticks. So what can we do? Do we need to just sit and do more? Well, what we can actually do is we can go get a whole bunch of opals, jades, and red topazes from the gem rocks in Shiloh Village, and we can actually sell them to Gabooti to basically get a bunch of trading sticks back. So this top one is usually pretty busy. There's usually a lot of people here, but if you've completed the medium Kourend, you can actually go down here instead, and there's obviously a ton, very easy to go get, you know, just insane amount that you might want. This is also how you can very easily make expeditious bracelets and slaughter bracelets for your slayer, which uses red topaz, and I believe it uses jades. No, wait, it uses opal bracelets. So that's opal bracelets for expeditious, red topaz for slaughter, which basically increases the amount per task and reduces the amount per task based on which one you're using. One thing to keep in mind, though, is that if you are mining them, you will probably need an Amulet of Glory, like a charged Amulet of Glory. Otherwise, your rate is quite bad to actually get them. If you're just desperate, though, to like get the task done, I mean, you can do it without, but it will be significantly slower without an Amulet of Glory, which can be a little bit difficult to actually acquire based on your regions. All right, now that I have a bunch of these uncut opals, what I can actually do is I can cut them if I wanted to. I can go ahead and just chisel them, but you can sell them uncut too. It just depends on what you would rather go ahead and do. Maybe you want to sell a bunch. Maybe you'd rather, just go mine them, maybe cut them. But this way works. We can just go ahead and cut them all. All right, and now I can just go ahead and start selling these cut opals, and you see I get quite a bit of trading sticks from this guy. It's quite fast, and it's a significantly faster way of just doing this as opposed to going and, waiting for like the cooldown. Now, I believe trading in a Gout Tuber with, I think it takes 1,200 to get a red topaz, but you can also just buy a red topaz here with 2,000. Of course, this is with Kourend Gloves 1, but let's go ahead and actually finish up our villager outfit that we so desperately wanted. Get the full blue set here. And with that, we can actually get a little task completed. Just very simple. So much faster just doing this, selling your opals as opposed to actually just going and waiting for the favor as well. It's kind of a way of gaming the system. Now, underneath the Berthor pub, this is like the Rogue's Den area where you can do the Rogue's Den minigame. Now, typically this only requires 50 agility and 50 thieving. However, with 80 thieving, there's actually a shortcut that speeds it up to about like 2 minutes or so. And that makes it actually really good. This is how you get your Rogue's outfit set, which doubles loot that you get while pickpocketing. And this is actually a boosted drop rate as well. I think I got this in about 10 runs or so, just doing the whole thing, looting the safes at the very end. And I believe with Trickster, it's impossible to fail the safes at the very end. They do have a small chance of failing. However, it doesn't mean that you're guaranteed an outfit piece. It's just a chance of getting it. But yeah, I got this done very, very quickly. Only took me maybe like 30 to 40 minutes. And it's quite nice having your rogue's outfit set anytime you're doing any kind of pickpocketing. All right, so just to the east of Alcarid, there's another minigame, the Giant's Foundry. This is like a big smithing minigame. And while this one does have quite a bit of tasks associated with hand-ins, I found that these are just not really worth going for. Like even 25 hand-ins takes quite a while, but 50 and 100 seems just insane unless you're going for like 50 mil smithing or something like that. So what you can do though is you can get like a very easy quality sword done if you have the smithing level requirement. So if you can make like runite swords, what I was doing was half addy, half rune inside of this crucible. And the minigame, or like the quests leading up to this will show you. But basically, you're going to be filling this up with bars, 14 addy bars, 14 rune bars is what I was doing. However, you don't actually have to use bars. You can actually use items instead to fill this up. And the easiest way of doing this, whether you have fire sale or maybe you just have cash, is I found that you can actually go to the Champions Guild to get adamant plate bodies, and you can go to Ozaic and Edgeville to get rune plate bodies. And that's basically what I was using. I would also toss in some plate legs as well, just to get that number exactly to 14. But you don't really need to worry about that. You can just go get like 3, basically a plate body usually takes 5 plate bodies, but there's a 1 bar cost, or sorry, it will take 5 bars, but there's a 1 bar cost when you turn it in. So a plate body is worth 4 bars in here. So you can take 3 rune plate bodies and maybe 4 addy plate bodies, something like that. And that's basically going to get you 12 and 16. So that adds up to 28, and you can go ahead and do your swords. The swords gave me like over 300,000 smithing experience, tons of points. I got all the stuff from the shop done pretty fast, the full outfit and all that stuff, way before I got 25 hand-ins. Each sword takes about 5 minutes, so you could do this with like bronze or steel if you wanted to go slightly faster. But I found that the difference was like not even a minute or something. It was like maybe 4.5 minutes versus 5 minutes. So I wouldn't really worry too much about the sword turn-ins. I think it's a very inefficient task. Now instead, just focus on doing this for smithing experience as well as getting all like the outfit pieces. So like the full smith's outfit. I still need to get the colossal blade from here, which is like a 5,000 points. But with the rune and addy, I was getting about 1,600 per sword. It was insane. I was getting so much points per sword. So yeah, it's really, really effective. Now, for Guardians of the Rift, I found that the worlds are 402 and 457. However, honestly, guys, I feel like Guardians of the Rift just isn't that good in leagues. There's not really anything that speeds it up too much. With Endless Harvest, you are getting twice the amount of like Guardian remains, so I was getting like a ton of shards, which was nice. However, the biggest issue with Guardians of the Rift is that you can't access some of the altars depending on what regions you have. So you can't access the Law altar without Asgarnia. You can't access the Blood altar without Mortania and Sins of the Father completed, and you can't access the Death altar without Tyrant Wind. So with those missing, I honestly felt like this just wasn't that great, and there's nothing that's really speeding it up. Basically, you have an increased chance of getting pearls, which is nice, but yeah, I didn't feel like Guardians of the Rift was that good. I don't really have any like insane tips. Maybe I'm missing something for this, but for me personally, the only thing I would really recommend here is that if you're looking for talismans and you don't want to go farm the leeches, you can buy all of your talismans here. So let's say you just need to get like a nature talisman. You could maybe do this for just a little bit, just to go ahead and grab whatever talisman you're looking for if you don't want to farm leeches for whatever reason. But honestly, the leeches aren't that bad in the Abyss, so you can go and do those as well. Next up, let's talk about the Motherlode Mine. This does get the minigame boost to getting like golden nuggets, which actually makes getting your full prospector set, which can also be upgraded to the golden prospector set if you're doing stars. it's actually a pretty fast task. And obviously with Endless Harvest, I'm getting twice as many, which is convenient, but even without this, you would still get it quite fast. However, you personally might feel like it's taking a lot slower. That's because there seems to be a bit of an issue right now with Motherlode Mine, where it's not really giving you the full amount of golden nuggets. However, there is a bypass, which I'll talk about in just a second. Basically, if I was to turn in my full inventory right now to the hopper, I would be maxed out at only getting 3 golden nuggets per inventory. That's not really that good. We don't really want that. That's kind of bad, right? Because then if we did a whole set, we would only get like maybe 9 for 3 turn-ins, right? It's about 80 for the sack, so 3 times 28 gets us past 80, right? However, at the 8 times minigame bonus, what we can actually do is we can only turn in 9 at a time. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop basically 2/3 of my inventory. So I just have 9 in my inventory. I'm going to deposit 9. Then I'm going to go ahead and pick up 9 more. Once the experience hits, I can go ahead and just deposit 9 more. Then I'll pick up the rest of my inventory, this time 10, but it doesn't really matter. It could be 9. You could have a hammer in your inventory, whatever you want, right? Now I'm going to go ahead and deposit 10 more. And now you'll see that when I actually go ahead and check, I don't have to actually check my sack, right? Because what I would ideally do is go do 2 more full inventories of this, but just to showcase it, now if I go ahead and check my sack, I got 7 from that, right? Typically I would have maxed out at just 3. Now I got 7 from that. Very, very good. Very fast. If you do it this way, if I had done 3 inventories, I could have gone like 20 plus from 3 inventories of that, right? Just doing that drop method. And this is going to make it a lot faster if you're going for your golden nuggets. So if you've been having this issue, definitely do this strat. For some reason, it's just working a lot better. Now, if you're not at the 8 times minigame, let's say you're at 5 times, but you wanted to go get your prospector set, maybe you wanted to do this for the hard Falador diary, which does require the prospector. What you want to be doing is turning in 14 at a time to the hopper. So you're going to drop half your inventory and deposit 14. And I'm not sure if these numbers are perfectly exact, but it's just easy for me to remember 1/3 and 1/2 of your inventory, depending on if you're at 8 times or 5 times. So yeah, just turn in half your inventory at a time if you're only at the 5 times, and you should be basically getting the max value there. And honestly, I would really only sit here for the prospector. The full set takes only 180. So if you're getting 20 per 3 inventories, it's only going to take you like 9 cycles of that. 9 times 3 is like 27 inventories. It's pretty fast, even if you don't have Endless Harvest or the Trailblazer pickaxe like I do. But if you do, I mean, I think I got this done in like 45 minutes. It was a joke. All right, and while I don't have access to it, I did want to talk about over in Zaya in the Hasidius area, the Tithe Farm. If you have the Farmer's Fortune relic, this minigame is busted because basically what the Farmer's Fortune does is it instantly like grows everything you've planted. So this makes a Tithe Farm just insanely fast farming experience. You will be able to instantly plant, instantly grow everything. So Tithe Farm becomes just some of the most fast, active farming experience you can get in the entire game. In addition, if you're going Zaya and you have Farmer's Fortune anyways, you can get your farming contracts done very, very, very fast because whatever like the guild master Jane says, you just go and plant that and it grows instantly. You turn it back in. I saw people getting like 150 farming contracts done in like one go. They just sat there and just did whatever she asked over and over and over and over again. The seeds grow instantly. They can't die. So yeah, very, very fast. Zaya with Farmer's Fortune, it kind of double dips on the farming aspect, and it might even be too much. I would almost say that you might not even need Farmer's Fortune because Zaya is already so good at farming. But if you do have both of those, you're getting a ton of value. You're getting so much fast points. Definitely go do Tithe Farm, get all of the stuff. There's points for the outfit, for the seed box. And you're going to probably want to get the auto, like the instantly get rid of weeds anyways, because that one, I mean, let's be real, it's like the best quality of life upgrade you can get. Now, I know many of you might be dreading the Mage training arena game. However, if you do have access to anywhere where you can buy bananas, so for example, this is in Kandarin, I can buy bananas over at the Apatol, and I can just buy a bunch of these bananas. It's very easy, and I'll just go ahead and, note them. But basically what I can do is I can actually smuggle in noted bananas over to the Mage training arena. I believe at 5 times minigame bonus, you're going to need about 8,000 of these. And at 8 times minigame bonus, you need 5,350 to get every single item from Mage training arena. And unfortunately, I don't have shortcuts for every one of them. But if we do go to the graveyard section, instead of actually picking up and casting, bones to bananas like you normally would, we can just unnote our bananas, turn it in, get points. Unnote, turn it in, get points. And this basically makes this Very fast, very brain dead way of getting all of your graveyard points. Again, you will have to go through several thousand bananas, but it's going to save you all the time of actually grabbing bones and doing bones to bananas. So, nice little shortcut there to speed up at least one room of the dreaded Mage training arena grind. Now, I'm saving some of the most dreaded for last here, but if you have not done so yet, if you do big chompy bird hunting, you can actually go ahead and do the chompy minigame. And you can see here that I have 1,425 chompy birds. I'll have you know that I have not actually killed this many chompy birds. I am not insane. There's basically these are actually boosted by the minigame thing. So at 8 times, you're basically getting 8 chompy birds per kill. However, there's also something very weird where for some reason you actually start at 1,000. I don't really know why this is, but this basically means that you can come and you can see like how many. Can you show me let's see. Can I have a hat, please? And he's actually going to give me like a whole bunch of hats that I've basically gotten. First off, this is collection log slots, but you also get, I think you get 130 points over the course of 3 tasks that you get just by doing the first 1,000 kills. So if you do big chompy bird hunting, you can actually get another 130 points just by talking to him to get some of these hats. Now, if you do want to go further, so again, I started at 1,000. I killed about 50 of them, which gave me an extra 400, right? So that's why I have that. There's also another huge task for getting the chompy hat at, I believe this is another 200 points for 2,250 kills, and then also for 4,000 kills. So it's up to you whether or not you want to do chompies, but they are boosted. And you can also do the Western Provinces Diary to have a bonus chance. Basically, every tier gives you a 25% chance for more than one to spawn. So easy would be 25%, medium would be 50%. And if you do have Kandarin and Tierenwin, you can do hard and elite, which will go 75 and 100% chance for 2 chompies to spawn. So that speeds it up by a bit as well. Also, you can claim arrows from the diaries, which makes it a little bit easier so that you don't have to actually make the arrows yourself, which is kind of a pain to actually go and manually make them. All right, and finally, we have Barbarian Assault. This is tasks as well as requirements for the Kandarin diary. So if you did want to get your Kandarin diary done, you would have to go ahead and do this. Now, one thing you might want to notice is I actually have like quite a bit of points. I actually got all my level 5s done, and that's because this is also affected by like the minigame reward bonus. So when you're at 8 times, I would actually encourage you to do this if you can find a group. I don't really know if there's like a specific world that runs Barbarian Assault, but I was able to do this pretty easily. Basically just one run through, just getting to like wave 8, basically, I would get level 5 as well as another 375 points that you need to actually buy the fighter torso as well, which is a task. So you don't even really necessarily, I mean, you have to kill the queen 1 time to actually get like the granite body or whatever for the hard Kandarin diary. But basically, if you just do one full cycle, like wave 1 through wave 10, kill the queen, you'll have like 1,600 points on top of being level 5. It's actually insane how much points you get for killing the queen. So, it's not too bad. It only took me about 30 minutes per roll. So, it's not too bad to go ahead and get done. All right. And that's it for today's video, guys. Hopefully you guys learned something new, something to kind of help you get some more points, get some of those mini games that you've been putting off done. There really are a lot of mini games available, and there's a lot of points available for mini games. So take advantage of that 8 times boost. Remember, you get the 8 times boost at tier 7. So if you're trying to work from tier 7 to tier 8, from 15,000 to 24,000, you're trying to get your final relic, it might be a good time to actually go ahead and do all your mini games because there's nothing waiting for you at tier 8. I will say though that if you're doing something like Temperos or Wintertodd, those count as skilling bosses, so those are actually buffed by the unique drop rate that you get at tier 8. So just keep that in mind if you're doing those bosses. As always, guys, thank you so much for watching the video. I hope you've been enjoying Leagues as much as I have. We've been working on a second character now just to have even more fun. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. I'll see you in the next video.